As I always say, Mondays are the most boring days starting the week. But however, I intend to keep your Mondays, of course, fun and exciting. Now we're going to be doing 3 reviews from 2 promotions, and guess what? They're all Joshi promotions. Joshi Wrestling, should I say. The first two are exactly 2 days of MARIGOLD's much recent tour, the Fantastic Adventure. Now, certain battle lines have been drawn. As you know, the Superfly belt is on the line, the Twin Stars, everything. So basically, we're going to be seeing a lot of feuds, a lot of battlegrounds led to their next pay-per-view fight or something. But we will see how that will progress. And then after that, of course, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling had their much recent show in Korakuen Hall, All Rise. But this one has a very special main event. As you all know, Meiko Satomura has announced her retirement road has just begun. So basically, she'll be teaming with Shoko Nakajima to take on the current Princess of Princess champion Miyu Watanabe and one half of the Princess Tag Team champions, the Prince Striker Miyu Yamashita. And then, of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including some developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, I can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, got real timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions set aside, in the words of AC/DC, I'm on the highway to hell. So let's begin with, of course, our very first review, and this is day 1 for MARIGOLD's Fantastic Adventure. Okay, so MARIGOLD, as you all know, they just recently finished their very first ever round robin tournament, the Dream Star Grand Prix. However, as you know, the show must go on, it must continue to the next chapter. So they just started their much recent tour, the Fantastic Adventure, and they were in Osaka. This took place recently on October 5th. Let's start with the beginning of the entire event. We have Flying Penguin. I have seen Flying Penguin before in a different promotion. She faces against Kizuna Tanaka. So basically, you would think, okay, Kizuna Tanaka, homegrown girl, was going to, of course, well, I don't think, I wouldn't say homegrown, but more of a future ace in talks, was going to be the one to pick up the win. Well, she did when she applied her infamous move, Redream. So that played out very, very well in some capacity. Now we have a very interesting match. This one is a 4-on-1 match. Well, you probably can guess who's the one who's by herself, and that is Bozilla. So basically, she had 4 girls on her. We have, of course, Mila Grace, um, Komomo Minami, Yuki Minami, and now Ishikawa. Now, you probably would guess that they stood a chance. The obvious question is no, they did not. They basically got twigged, and of course, in the end, Bozilla just stacked them up, show her superiority. So nothing budged. So that's the whole thing. So that's how she won. Now, our next match, we have Chiaki and of course Nagisa Nozaki taking on Rhea Seto versus Mitsa Matsui. Now, of course, we have seen Chiaki and Nozaki cutting corners at every chance they get. It's no secret that that's who they are. But unfortunately, it was, of course, Nagisa, Chiaki, with, of course, with the brain buster that allowed her to pick up the win onto Rhea Seto, giving her the win. Now, our next match, think of this as a prelim match before their tag type match. We have, of course, Chika Goto, one half of Twin Towers, along with Kyo Kiyomori. She takes on Mai Sakurai, who is one half of the Twin Star tag team titles with Mirai. So basically, this is more of a prelim. Now, of course, there's going to be some interesting moments. Now, many of us have seen the former Atlas girls have grown specifically. They're no longer doing like that whole pretend to be a wrestler type of thing. This time they're playing it very, very well. Not to mention with Chika Goto knowing what's at stake, knowing that she has to pick up some momentum in order for her and Kyoki to hope they win the Twin Star titles. But however, with Mai Sakurai's experience now, learning a lot from not only from Julia and other wrestlers, she was able to apply the STF, and just like that, Chiyogoto had no other choice but to tap. But however, of course, Mai put out a promo and said some things to Chiyogoto. Now I don't know what she said, but I'm sure she tells her you better be well prepared for the title match. I'm sure Chiyogoto will consider that, but we will see. Now for our main event, of course we have Kyoki Omori. She teams up with um, Natsumi Shozuki, Miko Anu. They take on Victoria Yuzuki, Mirai, and Utami Hayashida. So you can guess that those are really one of those matches. It happens. Now we do know because Kyoki and Mirai will be, of course, will be in the title match real soon on this one, and of course, Victoria Yuzuki has challenged for the Superfly belt. I don't know what Miku Anu and Utami Ishida's storyline is, but we do know that Utami Ishida's goal is to win the Crimson belt, or should I say the Red belt. But the match was pretty good. I have to say it was very fantastic. No holds backs. Nothing was exactly bad, but it showed that they were all determined to win. But unfortunately, this match ended after a 30-minute time limit draw, so we will see what happens down the line. But right now, I think we are done with day one of this particular one with MARIGOLD. Let's move on with day two of Fantastic Adventure. Okay, as we continue with more with MARIGOLD, this is of course day two of the Fantastic Adventure, and they went back again to Korakuen Hall. Now, of course, this one does feature, if anybody hasn't seen it yet, this one does have some English commentary. Mostly they will have their bigger shows in Korakuen Hall or wherever, they will have English commentary. But this one, they do have it in case anybody's interested. But let's begin. Our first match, we have a tag team match. We have Yuki Minami. She teams up with Mila Grace. They take on Komomo Minami and Rhea Seto. Now, of course, you wouldn't think so much about how this match was going to go. Now, of course, in the back of my mind, you would think there are certain, like, how to say, dynamics when it comes to experience. Mila Grace has better experience than all these girls combined in this match. But however, you look at Komomo Minami and Yuki Minami, they both have least experience, but they debuted in different timing. But however, Seto has much better experience, about maybe a year and a half or so, because of her timing with Sendai Girls. She was able to pick up the win when she applied a Boston Crab on Yuki, forcing her to tap out. So that played out pretty well. Now, our next match, we have Chiaki versus Mitsa Matsui. Now, this is not the first time these two ladies have uh, come across each other. Now, remember, I don't think Chiaki hasn't forgotten the fact that, of course, that Mitsa Matsui defeated her at the near the end of the Dreamstar Grand Prix. Mitsa Matsui at the time was at the bottom of the barrel with just 2 points, but she was able to pick up those 2 points by defeating her. I'm sure Chiaki was looking forward to get a little bit of payback, but however, Mitsa Matsui has to deal with her shenanigans, of course, cutting corners, being total aggressive towards her. But however, Mitsa was able to overcome that when she applied the code red, and boom, 1, 2, 3, adios. She won her match. So I hope this will help Mitsa Matsui to pick up momentum, because I'm sure she will love nothing more to win the Superfly belt. That is something I'm sure she is looking into it. Now, our next match, we have Nao Ishikawa once again teaming up with Nana Takahashi. They take on Kizuna Tanaka and Utami Ayashida. Now, we know recently Nana Takahashi has always questioned Nao Ishikawa's ways, because recently they have suffered a couple of losses. One of them was the Twin Star Tag Belts, which they lost to, of course, the current champions. But however, basically in this particular match, you wouldn't think that this could get any uglier, because it was Utami Ayashida who picked up the win onto Nao Ishikawa when she applied the German suplex. And of course, once again, Nana Takahashi questions her. So basically, Nao Ishikawa is still struggling, trying to pick up that big win. So basically, that sets it up right there. But we will see how that will go. Now, our next match. This is one of two championship matches. We have the MARIGOLD Superfly Championship. Now, this is something similar as the high speed title. We have Victoria Yuzuki, the challenger, taking on Natsumi Shozuki. Now, however, many of you may have thought, if you guys are big fans of whoever, many of you may think, okay, the Shozuki fans will think, okay, she's going to win this one. Victoria Yuzuki, we have seen how much she has grown, how much she has brought an impact into pro wrestling with a little less time. However, that match kind of ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. Now, I'm sure this is a very disappointing match for both sides, but it was a big frustration for Yuzuki, because she did not pick up, she either did not win or lost. So she did not get the job done. But of course, like any other match, we ask ourselves, who will be the next challenger? Well, this one had a very interesting person. I don't know who the hell this person is until I learned her name is Hummingbird. Now, I know, she shows up with the mask, guys. I don't know who she is. But seems that she has her sights on the Superfly belt. I don't know what is that all about, which is interesting. But I'm sure we will see her at some point. So we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Nagisa Nozaki and Bozilla teaming up once again. It's not the first time these guys team up. They take on our current white belt and crimson champions, Miku Anu and, of course, Sareee. Now, remember, Sareee issued that she has to challenge Bozilla as quickly as possible, because Bozilla has a win over her in the finals of the Dreamstar Grand Prix. That is the reason that. And of course, there's nothing too significant with Miku Ano and Nozaki. But however, Nozaki was the one who picked up the win when she applied the Nor Lance, kind of like the Claymore, onto Miku Ano and pinned her. Now, of course, in the back of my mind, Nozaki pinned Miku Anu. So that means she would challenge her for the white belt, which obviously is going to happen. So that's what exactly Nozaki was telling her. I'm sure that's what was happening, and that's it is. And of course, don't forget, Bozilla will have a chance against Sareee. Now, Sareee did mention on an interview that she's been watching videos involving Antonio Inoki, but one particular video she has been looking at is his match against Andre the Giant. So she's trying to figure out, is there any way she could do the same thing, or replicate it, or try to use whatever methods it be possible. But yeah, that's how it goes. Now, our main event is the MARIGOLD Twin Star titles. We have Twin Tower, Kyoki Amori and Chika Goto. As you know, they were the fan favorites that were expected to win the tournament, but it did not. It ended up with Mai Sakurai and Mirai, which of course, it's no secret about those two's relationship, being good friends back in Stardom, and now they get to be champions together, which is something I'm sure they have thought about for a long time, and now it has become to fruition. But it was only a matter of time until Twin Tower make their way to challenge for the belts. Now remember, it was Kyoki Amari who picked up the win on Mirai during the Dream Star Grand Prix, and of course it was happening. But however, I have to say the match was very amazing, and basically you can tell, like, you got these two girls who are tall as hell, but they actually have good chemistry. You look at Mirai and Mirai, they know each other very well. They have fought against each other on various occasions, but however, they have teamed up on very good levels. But it was Mirai with a lariat onto Kyoki to pick up the win, and just like that, they retained the belts. I don't know what they said to, I don't remember exactly what they said to them at the post match, but like any other time, we do have some new challengers, and this time we have the very talented Victoria Yuzuki and Kizuna Tanaka. So they became the next challengers. I'm looking forward to that, but we will see how that will roll up with them. But we'll see. But for now, we end things here with MARIGOLD and move on with our last and final review, and that is, of course, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Okay, so let's begin with now Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with their latest show, All Rise. This took place back on the 6th of October. I apologize because of the timing. As you know, the two Mighty Goals happened on the 5th and 7th of October, and this one happened on the 6th, so I decided, what the hell, let's just do things a little different for today. But anyway, this is another one of their big shows in Korakuen Hall. Of course, we have Sayuri Namba, who actually does the opening, and then of course we had a surprise visit with new trainees. I mentioned them before, Konatsu and Kana, so we will be seeing them soon. And then of course we had a surprise visit of Haruna Neko, who we haven't seen for quite some time due to the fact she's been out of action due to an injury. She just revealed that she'll be making a return later on this month on the 27th at Ryogoku, so at the KFC Hall. So I'm looking forward to seeing her again. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. And of course we had the Up girls do their thing and all that, so you know, we got all of that out. Now our first match, we have the tag team match, and we have Uda Takami teaming up with Toga to take on Haru Kazushiro and Wakana Uhara. So I thought the match was pretty good. Not strong, but good. However, we have seen some of these girls have improved a lot. Wakana, who has been one of those girls that many people often talked about, that she's going to be a bigger star. Well, she was able to pick up a win when she applied like an armbar onto Takami, and just like that, it was over right from there with a tap. Our next match, we have 6-woman tag match. We have Kira Summer, Chika Nanaze, Kakeru Sekiguchi, they take on Palm Harajuku, Raku, and Yuki Aino. Now, of course, Palm, Raku, and Yuki Aino, they have a very deep bond relationship, of course. It's very interesting, because Raku is really cool to watch. Palm, she's a bit more dramatic. Yuki Aino is the serious one, but it works. However, as always, I know because it meant, if you guys remember, during the Tokyo Princess Cup, she was unable to succeed to win the tournament because she was so close in hopes to win for the Princess title. But she was able to pick up the win with an inverted DDT, with an inverted DDT onto Chika Nanaze, and just like that, she picked up the win. Our next match, we have a tag team match. We have Kaya Toribami. She teams up with Moka Miyamoto. They take on Yoshiko Hasegawa and Zuzumi. So it's interesting to see, Zuzumi teaming up with with another person rather than with her Daisy Monkey tag partner Arisu Endo. But it was really fun. However, it was Hasegawa with a Meteora onto Kaya Toribami. It took only 2 tries to put her down, and it worked in her favor to pick up the win. Now, we have a very interesting special tag match that we're going to be talking here. Shino Suzuki teams up with Andressa Giant Panda. Yes, folks, there is a giant panda, so basically that's what happened. And now they have their opponents are Mahiro Kiru and Mizuki. Now, of course, we all know Kiru. She's very apologetic when it comes to what she is about to do. Of course, Andressa does that too. The panda tried to do the apologetic gesture, but unfortunately that didn't do any well because, in fact, it was Mizuki with the cutie special onto Shino to pick up the win. Our next match, we have Iwamare team up with Yuna Manaze to take on Rika Tatsumi and, of course, the cutest in the world, Maki Ito. So, a very interesting match, of course. You wouldn't expect. Yuna Manaze, many of you know, I've talked to her a lot. She's a well-respected Yoshi wrestler. She has trained many wrestlers over the years, like, of course, Unagi Sayaka, Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Sayu Anu, and various other people during her time in Atlas Girls. But this time, she's teaming up with someone who also came from Atlas Girls, but she's now becoming far more better than she used to be. But they're facing against 2 of the most popular wrestlers. But it was Rika Tatsumi with the inside cradle onto Imawari to pick up the win. So not bad out of her part. Now, our next match, we had a very interesting match. We have Yuki Kamifuku. She faces against someone you guys know, Kuroshio Tokyo, Japan, or better known as Ikemenjiro. So, yes, this was an intergender match. So, it was very interesting. But, however, of course, you're going to see some comedy humor from Ikemen. That's always been who he is. But, however, he got distracted, and Yuki Kamifuku took advantage of it and just won by pinning him, just like that. So, very unbelievable. Now, our next match, we have Arisu Endo. She takes on against Ryo Mizunami. I have to say, I'm not going to say that I take anything away from Arisu Endo. We have seen her, how much she has grown, not to mention she has become one of the most popular tag teams with, of course, Izumi, the Daisy Monkey. But we have now seen her stand on her own, on various occasions. She had an incredible match recently, but now it's like she's stepping up her game a bit to be a singles competitor. But however, when it comes to Ryo Mizunami, she may have given a good fight, but she stood no chance. So Ryo Mizunami picked up the win, and just like that, it was over. Now, our main event, we have Shoko Nagajima teaming up with the final boss, Meiko Satomura. They take on the pink striker, Miyu Yamashita, and of course the current Princess of Princess champion, Miyu Watanabe. So that is a very interesting match. Now, some of you may question, has Yamashita or Watanabe ever teamed up? Ironically, they have, and this is long before, of course, when Neo Bishiki Gun were still around. Um, of course, Miyu Watanabe at the time was one of the targets from them, and she teamed up with Yamashita in order to deal with them, but it was no luck. But seeing them team up is a very interesting. Don't forget, Miyu Yamashita is a former Princess of Princess champion, I think 3 or 4 times. Miyu Watanabe, one of the most popular ones who have risen. Many people have often talked highly of her. But, however, when it comes to Meiko Satomura, you know what that means. But it was Meiko Satomura that picked up the win with the Death Valley driver on Yamashita to pick up the win, and just like that, it was over. Now, of course, Meiko Satomura put out a promo, and she's putting the entire Joshi wrestling world on notice, telling them to step up. Who's there to face the final boss? So we'll see who'll step up. I'm sure there are those that would love nothing more to step up, but we'll see what happens down the line. But for now, we'll end things here and move on to our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So, as always, let's begin with the upcoming promotions. Well, the upcoming events, actually. So, let's talk about those, starting with GCW. Now, as you know, there will be at a 2-day weekend show in Atlantic City for Fight Club. Night one, it was revealed that Blake Christian will be in action to take on Cold Roderick. And then, of course, on next month, on the 14th of November in Louisville, Kentucky for Chaos in Kentucky, the Pink Striker Miyu Yamashita will be in action to take on Brooke Havoc. And then, of course, we have the Gateway to the Death that takes place on the 15th in St. Louis. They just announced the debut of Gary J. I don't know who he is. If anybody has any information about him, please leave a comment down below. Now, of course, on the 18th of October, House of Glory will have, of course, the Salvation event. They just announced Zilla Fatu will be there, so I'm looking forward to that. More matches have been announced by RevPro for their upcoming event on the 19th of October for Global Wars UK. If you guys remember, I did mention that there's going to be a head-to-head confrontation between both Josiah and Connor Mills. Well, they just picked their teams. Representing, of course, Josiah's team, he has the insatiable Leon Slater, and of course we have Go Ace. That's right, Hiroshi Tanahashi will team up with Josiah. And as for Connor Mills, he has, of course, Jay Joshua, and the very loud prick himself who needs bigger diapers, Gabe Kidd. Now, our next match, we have a title match, and this is for the undisputed British Women's Championship. As you know, Mina Shirakawa won this belt recently on the 12th anniversary show. She will defend it for the first time against Lizzie Evo. So that's going to be a very interesting match. It appears that now that the dream match has been, a rematch has been set up. Michael Oku will be in action to take on Ricky Knight Jr., but this one has been told that this will be a number one contendership who will be facing Luke Jacobs. So that's going to be interesting to hear. Leo Rush will be facing against Mascara Dorada. So that's going to be a very interesting high spot match. And then finally, the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship will be defended. Will Caven, who has been trying to ensure he does not meet this guy, will Cameron and Kai will get his shot. MLW has announced for the Lucha Apocalipto taking place on the 9th of November. Star Jr. will be making his appearance. Now, as you know, Thailand Promotion, set up Thailand Pro Wrestling, has announced they will have a new show taking place by the end of November called Year End Climax. And they just announced a title match, and this one is for the Setup All Asian Women's Championship, but in a no disqualification match. Matt Chat will defend the belt against someone you guys love and you guys remember. She just recently was in a title match on the last big event. and that is, of course, Palm Harajuku. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then finally, Ladies Night Out 14 has been announced on the 1st of December. Here's who's going to participate. We have Lindsay Snow, Jasmine Allure, Layla Gray, Alicia Edwards, Jordan Grace, Savannah Evans, Zaya Lee, and La Rosa Negra. So that's pretty much what's going to happen. Now, Candice Michelle, many of you remember, who did the whole GoDaddy many years ago. Well, some people are asking, should she get a Legends deal with WWE? I mean, I don't see why not, but it'll be a lot of fun. La Catalina, who is now currently is going to be, in fact, facing against Toni Storm, so she's calling her out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Faby Apache, many of you may know her. She is a women's champion, been with AAA for a long time. She just recently paid a visit to Rossy Ogawa, but she was happy to meet a particular someone, Kizuna Tanaka. Many of you know this or not. Kizuna's mom actually worked for Rossy back in the Arcean days. Well, it turns out that Faby Apache is good friends with her mom. So basically, it's great that they're gonna meet up, and I think it's great. Could not believe it. Now, Sareee was recently in Tokyo Sports talking about, of course, she's been studying tapes involving Antonio Inoki, but one particular match she was highly interested is the match between Inoki versus Andre the Giant. Now, many of you may ask, why is she viewing that video? Very easy. Do you forget who she's going to be facing? Defending the MARIGOLD world title. Well, she's going to place Bozilla. So basically, she thinks that maybe watching this video could help her in some way. I mean, it could. But we'll see what happens until then. So I think that's pretty much it, what we have for our news update. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have NXT. As you know, they made their debut last week in the CW network. The time has changed. I'm looking forward to that, to see what's going to happen. I think we are continuing with certain title matches taking place. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm sure we are expecting a couple of surprises, but we will see. Now, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to be reviewing, but we'll see how it happens, so I'm just going to wing it as always. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.